Welcome everyone to episode 458 of the Daily Mother Slizzle, the most muscular swolecast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all drink our coffee. Oh yes, and we flex our biceps. Oh, making sick gains. So you have a chance right now to get on the fucking gain train. So come on in, get on the train, and let's ride. We're gonna lock down the shoulder and ride. Welcome to episode 458.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Of the Daily Sleazy, every day live at 12 noon Eastern time. You can watch every episode on YouTube and also listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Let's get into it. Locking down the shoulder. Let me drink some more coffee. Wait. Ooh, it's hot. Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh baby. Oh yeah, you nasty, aren't you? Oh, you're so creamy. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. You. A little extra butter on that, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Stop it. No, stop. No. Yeah. That's right. Don't touch. Welcome to the Daily Sleeves. Let's lock down the shoulder. Thank you for all the wishes. I appreciate it. It's a Monday like any other. It's another Monday where we get to make some fucking gains. So big things this week coming. Thursday, shoulder workshop. If you haven't heard about it, now you have. You could check down in the timeline. Posted something last night, a little video intro to the shoulder workshop on Thursday, 8 p.m. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. So it's more of this information, but interactive, demonstrating exercises, breaking it all down. So Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, premium workshop, and also today, premium members, 1 p.m. accountability meeting. So I'll see you at 1. So episode 458, let's get into the shoulder. Let's lock it down. I want to talk a little bit more about the shoulder joint. I want to talk a little bit more about stabilizing the shoulder joint and what that actually means. So let's talk about the long lost muscles of the shoulder joint girdle, the shoulder region. So I want to talk about the lower trapezius, specifically the lower trapezius, lower middle trapezius, and also the rotator cuff. Let's start on the back. Let's start on the back of the body. So if we're looking at someone from the back part, you have shoulder blades, okay? Now these are not to scale, obviously, but this is kind of what the scapula look like, okay? And this is the head, and this is, the spine right here in the center, okay? So obviously this is not to scale. I'll draw a bigger head because that look like, all right? So the person has a spine, this, that, and the other. So the shoulder blades I've been talking about, how they interact with the shoulder joint, right? You have mobility and stability dispersed across two different interactive sections. So you have the shoulder blade, the shoulder girdle, which is the shoulder blade, and the body and the ribs and everything interacting, the scapulothoracic joint. And then you also have the scapula and you also have the humerus and the arm that interact. So those two joints, those two interactive portions of the whole entire shoulder work together to provide a lot of mobility without sacrificing stability completely. Make sense? Good. If that doesn't make sense, watch the last couple episodes of the Daily Swole. You have a couple muscles here. You have the upper traps, which everyone tries to hit in the gym. Yow, come on, 2 more. Come on, I want to look like a fucking turtle. Yow. People just jack on that so they look like an absolute orangutan. I'm not sure what the obsession is with upper traps, but that's up here. Now, I'm not drawing things to scale. I'm not drawing accurate insertions. I'm just giving you an idea of where they are. But people wreck and keep on hammering out that. What we're concerned with is actually the middle trapezius, which is more in the center, and also the lower trapezius, which actually attaches up here, but I'm not gonna. like that. So you have this trapezoid looking muscle overall. The traps are all of that, upper, middle, and lower. And the middle and the lower are the ones that are most important. This is what gets often glazed over, what people don't see, what people don't know, what people don't care about. Because what can you really see in the mirror? Well, I mean, you can see the middle and the lower traps. Like if you're very lean and if you get really thick, you should be able to. But what do most people train? Most people train up here. Most people train the upper traps. Most people go after the upper region, and that's not good. You don't need more upper traps. Everyone wants to see, you know, you want, I don't know what the, I'm not sure what the, I'm trying to show right there. I don't know what the allure is to have like this muscle up here so you look like fucking Girdle the turtle. I don't know why people want that turtle shell. Upper traps are fine, it's a muscle. And I had someone ask me the other day what my favorite muscle is to train. And I said, all of them. I like to train every fucking muscle. I don't have a favorite. I love training and developing each one maximally. Like, when I say maximally, everyone's gonna be like, well, you're not that big, bro. I'm big, I just don't care to get fucking big like a freaking house. Okay, I'm not gonna inject steroids into my dick hole and just get abnormally huge. But I'm talking about developing maximally relative to one another. So you have deltoids that fit the biceps, biceps that fit the triceps, calves that fit the quads, quads that fit the hamstrings, glutes that fit the, you know, everything. So proportion. So bodybuilding is not get as huge as you can, it's developing the muscles proportionately. And that's where a lot of people get that wrong. So bodybuilding is the even distribution and proportion, strength, size, shape, aesthetics, balance, symmetry of the body. So here, these are very important. The middle and lower traps are gonna be far more important. The upper traps are important too, but you get too much upper traps. You get too much upper traps when you're holding the steering wheel, when you're texting on the phone, when your head's all dropped forward, when you're watching TV, when you're sitting typing at a desk. You're activating your upper traps, you're shrugging too much. So when you go to the gym and you keep on hammering away these upper traps, you're creating a lot of imbalance, creating a lot of forward rolling with the shoulders, creating a lot of tension on the neck, on the back of the head, and people get a lot of tension headaches, migraines, issues up top. What we need to focus on and what we're going to, especially in the workshop on Thursday and any kind of shoulder training, I always say, pull the shoulder blades back and down. Pull them back and down. Pinch them and pull them back and down. You also have muscles here called the rhomboids that are underneath the middle traps. So you could add that into this discussion. And what I think is going to happen is tomorrow I'll talk more about the other muscles because I'm going to get a little bit more involved with this and it's going to take too much time. So we'll split this up until today and tomorrow we'll get more into it. So watch this one today and make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow because I'm going to give you the other half of this. We'll talk more about the joint. We'll stick to the girdle. So the shoulder girdle here, you have, let's get some other colors. Should we do some colors? Should we do blue? Ooh, blue. Oh, I lost the cap in there. So you have the rhomboids under here. All right, so what are some of the major muscles that we're looking at? We got the traps, the trapezius. I'll put traps for short. We got the rhomboids. And you also have muscles on the front, which I'm not gonna draw because I'm not that good. This isn't like a 3D model, but muscles on the other side, the serratus anterior. You also have muscles, levator scapula, aren't part of the girdle per se, but that are, well they are, but you know, they're a little bit of a different, you know, pull. They're similar to the upper traps in terms of what gets overworked. So when we're looking at this, the most important muscles that we want to work and be aware of, the most important ones we want to work and be aware of right now for this show, for this episode, for what I'm talking about, are the trapezius and the rhomboid. So you have three parts. You have the upper, the middle, and the lower. So let me erase this and re-show you what I mean. So you have the upper traps, then you have the middle traps, and then you have the lower traps. Now this is just vector direction. This is not the way the muscles look, obviously. So this is the center of the body. You know, this is the person's head, okay? This is where they're pulling. So you see how the upper traps pull this way, the middle traps pull pretty much medial, and the lower traps pull down. Does that make sense? You see already how the body and the rhomboids pull this way too and a little bit down. And a little bit up too. I mean, depends on what part of the muscle. But you see which way these muscles can be pulled in terms of the meat between your shoulder blades on the spine of the girdle. So you have pulling kind of up, pulling medial, and pulling down. What gets overworked is right here. This gets far too much attention. It's already shrugging up, it's already rounded up from driving in a car, from eating dinner, from sitting at the couch watching TV, from being at a desk all day, from doing everything to the front. When you're driving a car, you're here. And what happens is eventually you start getting up here, you start getting shrugged up, because one of the things that gets lost is the tension, right? Is the tension when you're driving a car. Let's say something happens and someone cuts you off. What do you be like? Yes, you're like, hey, you cut me off. You get tense, right? You grab the wheel and you squeeze all the muscles, and all the muscles that are kind of gently engaged to start firing more, and they start building up more and more tension. They start building up more and more activation, and they become what's known casually and professionally in therapy and corrective exercise as overactive. They become overfired, overstimulated. Remember the last few days been talking about, and especially last week and the week before in the premium workshops, talk about activation of the glutes, right? Talk about activation, isolating how to turn on the muscles, how to turn on the glutes. These muscles are too turned on. They're too horny, you know what I'm saying? They're too excited, they're too triggered by the brain, so they don't shut off, and they're working too hard and they create a lot of damage. So these muscles, because these are firing too much, these get shut down. So the middle traps and the lower traps, what's pulling the shoulder blades back and down, pulling back and down. Most people are hunched forward like this. Ready? I'm gonna pinch my shoulder blades back, middle traps, and depress them, lower traps. Protracted, rounded in, shrugged up, retracted, and down, and down. So that retraction and that depression is middle and lower traps, and also the rhomboids, which are a little bit deeper. So you have muscles. You have muscles here that will do this. You have muscles here that will solve this. And the reason why you might go get a massage, you have a lot of tension in your neck, get a massage, it feels good. And then it goes away, gets knotted up, comes right back. It's because you're not solving the problem. You're not releasing the tension, you're not releasing the pattern, you're not retraining and reteaching the body that this is not good. So when people ask me like, oh, what do I do for traps? What should I do for traps? I usually say, stay the fuck away. Get away from the upper traps. Ignore them for years. Then you can start training them and you'll be in a better place, because more often than not, they're firing too much. You have to drastically go the other direction and balance out this area, and then you come back and hit upper traps. I do it once in a while. I personally want to start doing it more because I do a lot of this middle and lower trap, but you drastically want to go the other direction. Most people don't. Most people just do shrugs and upright rows and presses and stuff that just jacks up the upper traps over and over and over and over again. They don't balance it out. And this lower trapezius, that range of motion is like this. It's like a couple centimeters or a centimeter, maybe an inch of range of motion. But it's so extremely powerful, these two muscles, that when they're working properly, you can release so much tension in your upper body, create so much more mobility, get so much more range with the arm during overhead movements. A lot of people can't do overhead movements well because the upper traps are firing too much, because the lower traps aren't firing enough. And I'll talk more about the pivoting and the range and the movement of the traps on the scapula later on. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, maybe even in the premium workshop, because that's a lot of detail. But it's very important to understand how this works, to understand really how important this is to train. If you are slacking, if you don't know any of this, okay, that's why I'm here. But if you don't take this seriously and pay fucking attention and glue yourself to this broadcast every day for the rest of this week, at least when we're jamming on the shoulders, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. Because if you are ignoring, or you're ignoring the fact that this exists, and now that you heard me say this, if you're ignoring the fact that this is actually what's going on, you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna have compensations, you're gonna have misplaced focus in all of your training, and you're gonna lead yourself down a path of great risk for injury, as well as decreased strength and decreased proper movement. So in other areas like your elbow, even in the shoulder joint itself, not just your neck pain, but even in the thoracic spine, the back and the lower back, because you're gonna be moving around this limited ability to have range of motion due to the imbalance here. Very important that you have mobility with the scapula. It's very easy to get that locked up because of how we're sitting back. We're leaning back against chairs all the time. We sit with bad posture in the car. We sit with bad posture at work. We are texting on our phones all the time. There's a lot of issues going on now, especially with this, the texting, to the point where therapists and orthopedists have actually coined a new term called text neck with kids in middle school and elementary school and high school because of how quickly cell phones got popular. Now everyone has one. Everyone's neck is down, so everyone's rounded, shrugged. A lot of pressure on the neck, a lot of issues with the upper body and the upper extremities because of this imbalance. And it's all due to repetitive movement. So whatever you're doing at work, whatever you've done for the last 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years is wreaking havoc. And if you don't know any of this, if you don't know what these muscles are, if you've never trained them directly and been aware that you train them directly in your life, chances are when you go to train them now, if you looked up an exercise, hey, let me hit them, you wouldn't feel it here because these are firing too much. They're too shut down. You need to fire these muscles, very, very important, and that is the content for this week, and that is what we're gonna crush this Thursday during the shoulder workshop in premium. So a couple things, this Thursday, premium workshop, link is in the description, premium.swolenormous.com, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna hit this more again tomorrow, but we're gonna crush all these exercise and isolation and activation techniques Thursday night at 8 p.m. in my premium group. And thank you so much for joining me for episode 458. Remember, I'll make other announcements. A lot of you probably just got an email that my 90-day dash program is also ending on the special offer in the next week or so. So make sure you check out that link in the description as well. Message me if you have any questions. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 458 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Every day live at 12 noon Eastern time right here on the Sleazy Facebook. You can watch all the episodes also on YouTube and listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Big announcements coming today in my premium group. I will see everyone at 1 p.m. in premium for the accountability meeting and make my tentative announcements, what's happening in the next week or two. Big, 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 huge, huge, huge stuff. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose. I'll see everyone at 1 p.m. and I'll see everyone here live tomorrow for 459. More shoulders. Don't wait to sign up for that workshop. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be live. It's going to be fucking awesome. Later.